Hey guys, it's Michael. Sorry again, I haven't been around much. I've been a little bit under the weather still. I think I described that in my last video with the shepherd's pie. But I'm feeling much better and it's time to get cooking again. I will get online. I will respond to some of the really nicest comments I've gotten from anybody out there. And I got to get back to you guys and I got to get you guys back in the flow of things. Today we're going to make something quick. Everybody wants Spanish. So we're going to do white rice and a Spanish steak and a beans, some pinto beans today. Basic ingredients: pepper, salt, garlic, oregano. Then and your olive oil, of course. Then we add our Spanish ingredients today, which is going to be the sazon and the sofrito. So you got your basic ingredients that we used to cook with every day, and then you have that. So we're good. We're good to go. So today what we're going to do is I've got some water on boiling for the rice. Let that get nice and hot, and then we'll add a little bit of salt or whatever and put it in. I'm going to show you the marinade of the steaks. Now what I did today was I went ahead, I cut some onion, but we're going to do the onion in a little larger cut like normal. And this is going to be a marinated steak, and the only reason why I don't need to marinate it long is because I'm going to cook it right in its own brine, right in the marinade I make. So I'm just going to wedge up these onions and put them in there because they have to sit with the steak and with the marinade to get that flavor. So we're going to do that, and then we have a cube steak. We use a cube steak today. I wanted country fried steak, but the Spanish did not want country fried steak. So I lost because the household's bigger with the Spanish. So I'm just going to put it right in the bowl with that. I'm not going to salt and pepper it yet until I get everything in the bowl. And then, now that everything's there, now I'm going to take some salt. Just stay on the bowl instead of going back and forth, Christian. Christian's again doing our video, and
Tommy's too lazy.
I'm gonna say, yeah, he's been back, but he's been busy working. Don't say he's too lazy. That's my little brother. That's your cousin.
Still,
okay.
he's at the bookstore now.
So I put about a tablespoon of salt in there, believe it or not, for that steak, because I wanted to get the flavor. Some black pepper. I'd say about a half a teaspoon for you guys. If you like a little more, it's more or less to taste. I'm gonna go ahead and put some oregano in there. And I'd say about probably a teaspoon. That was almost 4 pounds of steak. It was like 6 steaks. So you'll know. I'm gonna put 1 envelope of the rice. So we can go ahead and get that rice in. 1 envelope of sazon. And let me just put the rice in real quick, guys. Now you guys remember that it's 2 to 1. So we're gonna do 6 cups of water to 3 cups of rice.
That's nice.
Salt I'm a little bit liberal with on my white rice because there's nothing worse than a plain rice. We're going to do that. We're going to do a little bit of oil, which olive oil I can use. Use your vegetable oil, whatever. I just have the olive oil right there. And then I'm going to put the rice in there. So remember that today was 6 cups of rice, or 6 cups of liquid, and I'm doing 3 cups of rice. So that's good to go. I'm going to bring that to a boil now. While we're working on the marinade still, let that boil and come down just a little bit. So let's go back to the steak, Christian. I did the 1 envelope of sazon. So far we got salt, pepper, oregano, sazon. I put no garlic in there yet. Guys, again, I like my powdered garlic, but if you got the chunk garlic or fresh garlic, whatever you want to use, and I'm pretty liberal. I like it. I'd say that was about 2 tablespoons right there. So we have everything in there. I'm going to go ahead and add my oil.
Just this amount of oil.
Yep. But now what I got to do is save a little bit of that. So I'm going to use a little veggie oil because we're a little low. And I need enough oil for the marinade. I would say probably a half a cup of oil. And you're good to go. And then what happens is we have the oil and everything in there. And then I'm going to add just a couple of capfuls of vinegar.
Vinegar. Distilled white
Just a
vinegar.
couple of cat fills. Distilled white, you could use, I mean, pretty much anything. Red wine. I'd say that's probably a quarter cup. You could use red wine vinegar. You could use whatever vinegar you want to use.
That's the only thing we have on hand.
Now, my hands are nice and clean. I've already washed them, so I'm just going to take those and I'm going to mix everything around. Like I said, I'm going to cook it in the marinade, so you know, you really don't have to season the steak before you put it in, because as you see, I just put all the steak in. So I'm going to cook it in the marinade. And all this is going to cook in a pan together fast. Brown the onion, cook the steak thoroughly, and we're good to go. And maybe add a little bit of red sauce at the end. Not much. I'm just making this little variation to go with the white rice. We as kids growing up would eat it as that. Mama would cook it, and she'd dry up the marinade on it and then brown the steak golden brown, and we'd eat it like a steak. But this is just like a stewed steak. It's just a little bit different. But I got that marinated right there. So now, while that sits, what we're going to do is the rice is boiling. I'm going to give it a final mix right here. And we're just making white rice because white rice is just so yummy.
Especially with ketchup.
Yeah, with ketchup.
Yes.
That's your white boy Puerto Rican coming at you, Christian.
Still, it's good.
Yeah, I know. I like it with ketchup. When we were kids sick growing up, we used to get it at a fast meal, or Mama used to make that. The rice soup, which one of these days I'm going to get to with you guys.
Yeah, you should do that soon.
Put a little more oil in that rice because that olive oil wasn't enough. So I'd say probably about a quarter cup of the oil to the rice. What it does is keeps it moist, makes our pagao on the bottom because it browns the rice. I don't know if you remember me telling you when we made the rice and corn that you put the oil, the pagao is all sticky brown rice on the bottom. We don't turn our pans the whole way. But now I drive my family crazy with my rice because see it's boiling like that. I'm going to take it all the way to almost low, like 1 bar before low. I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'm going to forget that rice for like 6 to 8 minutes before I even go in there and stir it and make sure all the liquid's absorbed. So now what we're going to do with the
beans.
With the beans, make sure I got the right stove on, yeah. What we're going to do with the beans, a little bit of oil at the bottom of the pan. And then we're going to, what I'm going to do is you can use a chorizo, you can use a ham, you can use whatever you like. I happen to have like a smoked sausage which is similar to chorizo. So just not as spicy or salty. And I'm going to take it and dice this up kind of fine. You know, we want to see some in our beans, but we don't have to see a lot, you know. But I like a lot. That's why I'm using one of these whole smoked sausage, because chorizo is only about that big. It's very tiny. So I'm just going to dice this up just a little bit. And me, I'm not worried about too much flavor, so I'm going to use this whole sausage. Most of everybody that knows how to make this will probably just use half the sausage, but again, you know me with flavor, and I don't think you can get too much right. So we're going to put this right in the pan in the back and start to brown it up. You can hear it sizzle. So we're going to start to brown it up. I've got that oil in there. I'm kind of mixing my oils today because I'm short on the olive oil, so I'm putting a drop here of olive and a drop of veggie. But there's that. I think there was about 2 tablespoons of oil in there to brown that sausage. So then we're going to take that, we're going to mix it around and let it brown for a second. And then we're going to put our key Spanish ingredients first, which are going to be the sofrito. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in now. And I say for that can of beans that I'm making, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons in there. There's 1. And my tablespoons are big. There's 2. Like that. I love the Spanish flavor. So, if you could just smell that right now, guys. Remember, that's green pepper and onions and a cilantro and a seasoning that we call, ricao, which is a green leaf, almost like a bay leaf. Then we have our sazon, 1 can. They would usually use 1 envelope, but again, Chris, you know me.
Yep.
I like to have it with that Spanish flavor and above flavor.
Just as long as you don't waste them.
A little bit of sazon in there. I don't waste anything. And we'll let that sausage cook with the ricadito real quick and with the sazon. And we're just going to bring it to like a nice little boil and make sure it's cooking. And then what we'll do is we'll take our pinto beans. I just had these in the cabinet, and they're just a seasoned pinto bean. We'd normally use straight. We would need the seasoning, but I had it there, and something a little bit different. So, let's see. So we're cooking that up. I'm starting to smell it, which means I'm cooking the pepper and onion inside of it, and the leaves. The sausage is browning, so I'm going to go ahead and add my can of beans. And I don't rinse the beans. Thank you, Christian. I don't rinse them or anything. And now I'm going to make this kind of loose. So I'm going to take 1 can of water to the 1 can of beans, and I'm going to pour it in there. And you see the consistency is loose, but these beans are going to thicken these up as they cook and all of that. And I'm actually going to add a half a can more, Christian, today.
That's fine. I
want them to boil heavy, and we're going to add some salt. They're going to cook. They're going to get the bean flavor. I don't waste any of it. So let's see. We're going to add about a teaspoon of salt to that. And then we're going to add some black pepper. And to your taste, black pepper. 1/4 teaspoon, a little more. We like pepper. I'm going to do just a little bit more of the powdered garlic. Now remember, your sofrito has fresh garlic, so you don't need a lot, but I like to add a little bit more, and just a drop, maybe an 1/8 of a teaspoon of oregano. You don't want a lot. But these are our Spanish condiments. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that down now on a... And I'm cooking everything on high pretty much. My beans are going to be cooked on high. My rice, of course, I lowered, because it only takes 20 minutes. But let's see here if we can mix this around a little bit. And we're just going to let it go. And by the time it'll slow cook, it'll steam, it'll pop open nice. By that time, we'll be ready to go. Okay. Now, my beans are going to cook down. I just have to taste a little bit for flavor. Oh my goodness. Oh, they're absolutely delicious by the time they cook. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do also, marinade and everything. I'm going to put my stove on medium high. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place the steak on the bottom. And you could be, what's up, Gloria? Cousin Gloria snuck in. She's trying not to be noticed. We're going to go ahead and sneak the steak on the bottom.
She's trying, but not trying well.
Yeah, because she loves the limelight, doing her greeting cards. How's that going for you, girl?
It's going really good, really good.
And like I said, I'm putting the whole marinade on there, so I didn't put any oil or anything, because that marinade is going to cook and seep inside the steak, and it's going to get all nice and tasty and good. So we're going to go ahead and let that start cooking. I have the beans going, I have the rice going, I have the Spanish steak going, so I'm going to take away and clean up and all that for a second, and we'll be right back. As soon as everything starts cooking, we'll take a look at it and be back in a sec, guys. Ready? Okay, guys, so we're just a few minutes into it. It's been cooking probably about 6 minutes. So I'm going to go and I'm going to turn the rice, flip it. Remember, we don't go to the bottom. We like our pegao. We like our rice that's thick and hard, especially with the white rice. It's so yummy.
It tastes better than with the Spanish rice.
Yep. Now all this rice is still going to dry up for us and become nice and light and fluffy, and because I like my rice steamed. And then our beans, here's our beans. Look at how beautiful. They're boiling along. I got them on a medium heat. So there's the beans, and then the steak is just cooking away, and I'm gonna let it cook like this. When the marinade evaporates on it, then they'll brown a little bit, and then we'll take them out. So I'm gonna let them cook like that, and get rid of some of the juice. But we're good to go about halfway. We'll show you when it's done. Thanks. Alrighty guys, look, check out our Spanish steak. The liquid is evaporating, that was the marinade, and now I'm starting to get into the oil with the onion. So it's sizzling up some, the rice is done, nice and fluffy. Just mix it around, like I said, don't go to the bottom, fluff it up as you're mixing it around. I have a tendency of making my rice moist, but I follow my heart. 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of liquid. Double water to to single rice.
But you made 3 cups.
And I'll follow it. Yeah, today was 3 cups and 6 cups of water. But I'll follow that until the day I go on. There's that. Our beans are nice and thick. Right there with the juice, they're ready to go. You got a good picture of those, Chris?
1 second.
Nice and ready to go here. And now you hear my steak browning, the last stage of it. Once it browns for a second, a little bit, see the little brown onion and all that. Once it browns just a little bit, this steak is ready to come off the stove. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Grandma a plate ready here like we always do. And we're going to give her something, but I think I'm going to go ahead and turn off that steak. Gonna be good and marinated. I'm actually gonna turn everything off, guys. I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and get Grandma's plate together. And we're gonna go ahead and give her some of the white rice. Oops.
That was smooth.
Yeah, I'm smooth. You know that. Look at how fluffy that rice is, guys. Not too soft. It's just nice and fluffy. So we're going to do that there. And then we're going to...
Look at how good that looks.
Yeah, you see,
Oh my
Gloria,
God.
she heard we were making this, so she snuck in. We're going to put some of her beans on the side, some of the juice from the beans on the top, because Gma likes that. And just right on top of the rice. And then the way I like to do it is just halfway, because when I give her a piece of this steak here,
You don't want some onions.
and you see the nice browns and all that, gotta put the steak on the side, and then what we're going to do is some of that oil,
Some of the onions.
and some of the onions right on top of that rice, right there on the side. So there we have it, guys. There's a Spanish steak. Oh, we got to put a couple onions on top of the steak too
Oh my God.
some of the juice Spanish steak,
That looks
rice
so
and
good.
beans.
Look at that. Oh,
You could almost say I was Puerto Rican, right?
you are.
Alright guys, so join us again. I'll get back in the kitchen tomorrow. Like I said, I'm doing a little better. We have some Spanish rice, rice and beans, and Spanish steak and onions with the white rice. Enjoy it, and we'll see you in a day or so.